Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm from Ukraine, and I vlog daily to keep you updated on the real-life situation in my country. The war with Russia continues, but with each day and the support of our allies, Ukraine is closer to its victory. If you're new to the channel, I invite you to subscribe because the world did not know much about Ukraine for a pretty long period, and the time to change that has come. And also, we have a great community on the channel, and I consider the majority of my subscribers my true friends, because if you read the comments, if you see the conversation that we have, it will definitely feel stronger. That's how I feel when I realize what community we have shaped here. And often I come across a question that is repeated in comments that is about the role of women in the Ukrainian armed forces. Earlier on the channel, I had a video where I spoke about Ukrainian women in general, and I will not repeat myself, but perhaps to make it clearer, I will still remind you some important aspects of the role of a woman in Ukrainian society. And I would like to start with that confession that I'm really happy that I was born a woman in Ukraine. I understand that in many countries of the world, women are still fighting for their basic rights. Of course, everything is not perfect in Ukraine and in many other democratic countries. But if we compare that to some very radical societies, and we realize, for example, how Iranian women have to fight for some very core rights, we realize that here in Ukraine, we enjoy equality for a pretty long period of time. My dad, and I'm the only child, wanted a boy. But later, when he got me, he decided that it is even better. And he liked to joke like that a girl is just the same as a boy, but she can also trick boys or something like that. So it's even better. And honestly, when we look into the history of Ukrainian society, we will see that women have occupied various important positions. There were queens, there were important business, scientific women, and all that through the history. I've told you already, we have that joke that why women in Ukraine are so pretty, because we did not have Inquisition, and we honestly did not have like huge waves of Inquisition. So we did not kill our smartest and cutest women, and they survived and continued the line. But I'm sorry, this is not a politically correct joke, but it actually illustrates the fact that even if we don't look at this global history of the country, I mean about various queens, warriors, and we look into traditions of household, we will see that Ukrainian women were pretty important, deciding about the money, deciding about the organization of family life. They had lots of rights, they were able to inherit many things. So in general, I can say that for centuries we were more or less normal. Of course, there is always something better we can urge for, but when you look at Ukrainian legends, when you read old books, when you listen to songs and jokes, you will see that I'm right, because many of them rotate around the fact that it is a husband who is afraid of his wife. And even if we look at Cossack times, for example, Cossacks were perfect warriors, but they had to leave their family for like half a year for various military campaigns. And during that period, women were rulers of the household, economic, trade questions, they were all on them. And like women enjoyed that and got their experience, they cooperated with each other. So in general, the position of a woman in the Ukrainian society, I would say, satisfactory. And that is why in Ukrainian armed forces, the number of women is pretty big and the attitude to women is normal. Of course, in such like man spheres like sports, like military, I don't know, other things, it may be difficult for a woman because of the stereotypes that exist globally. But in general, the environment and the atmosphere is pretty promising. And if you compare Ukraine to Russia, you will see that in Russia, they don't have women in the armed forces at all. And like if they have, they are just like accountants or something, not performing military tasks. And various scientific articles from Nordic countries that I have come across show that the effectiveness of army and the normal relationships within army grow tremendously when there are women. And I think NATO standards and other civilized standards presuppose this fact, because I think that every sphere of our life has to reflect the world in general. So, coming up back to the Ukrainian armed forces, according to the official statistics that was voiced by the Ukrainian Minister of Defense, we have 59,786 women serving in the Ukrainian armed forces at the moment. That is a lot. Of course, not all of them are on active military duty. Many of them are like paramedics working in the administration, but right now at the front lines in Ukraine, we have 5,000 women. 5,000 women are now fighting in the trenches, in the fields, protecting Ukrainian freedom, independence, gaining experience that maybe in future will be invaluable for sharing with other women and other men from other ally armies of the world. Also, this number grew tremendously together with the reforms and changes, democratization of Ukraine, I would say. That's why, once again, believe us, we will be able to become a normal member of the European Union, maybe even an exemplary one, because in 2008 we have like 1,800 women, and now we have 59, close to 60,000 women, and they feel comfortable and they feel effective within the Ukrainian armed forces, and I'm really proud of that. What is also important, we have a specific law since 2018 that equates women and men and their rights within the Ukrainian armed forces, the way they can volunteer, the way they can serve their duty. And from what I understand today, it is Ukrainian men who suffer from some problems, inequalities, because, for example, for a woman it is easy to get a maternity leave when she is on the service, and for a man it is still problematic. So honestly, like, I'm not an active feminist because I have never felt like that my gender prevented me from achieving something. I cannot recall many things, maybe because I'm lucky, or maybe because I'm good at like setting goals and boundaries. And my father tamed me and trained me. But I do think that we speak a lot about women's rights and we don't speak much about men's rights. And there's still lots of problems and lots of stereotypes that also spoil men's lives. So honestly, it is about like inequalities and problems exist in both genders, or even more, whatever you look at it. So, since 2018, both genders, female and male, are guaranteed equal rights in the Ukrainian armed forces. What is also important, that many women, they are snipers, and you know that women are considered to be best snipers. I'm, by the way, good at shooting. At like, I remember my experience, not the military experience, but a training experience, and I was able to shoot matches. You know, like they put matches and you have to break it with a bullet, and I was able to do that. I don't know why, but it seems to me some physiology research say that women are better at shooting, and many women snipers become phenomenal, and we have women snipers in the Ukrainian armed forces. We also have Marines. We have commanders of tank crews and other very, very military positions. They serve in aviation, they serve in border control, and everywhere. And luckily, contrary to those ex-Soviet countries, the Ukrainian women uniform has become like normal. Not the one to look very sexy on a parade, but the real one in which a woman can serve, can run, and can protect her motherland. This is actually what her function is in the Ukrainian armed forces. Also, there are many women commanders. And if I'm not mistaken, I was Googling that, I was able to find 2, but maybe there are more, and it's not that all information is open, but at least there are 2 women generals in Ukrainian armed forces. And this is really cool. Also, our women are brave and strong, and the fact that when this war started, there was a survey at the beginning of March, and 59% of Ukrainian women said that they are ready to protect their motherland and they are ready to join the army if needed. So be careful with Ukrainian women. But in general, we're good. It's only orcs that should be afraid of us. I know that many of you follow various Ukrainian military vloggers and women on the internet. I cannot tell you that I am a follower of women online. But I know that there are a couple of names that I should mention. And first of all, two of these women are paramedics. Tyra, whose real name is Yulia Payevska, and she is a paramedic, and she was active since 2014, and she was also captured, and she was a prisoner of war in Russia, but now she's released, and she's very active as a volunteer, as a paramedic, as a spokesperson, and as an example for many Ukrainian soldiers. And also many of you followed the events on Azovstal, and there was a very nice young lady whose nickname or pseudo, how do you call it, was Ptashka, which can be translated as a bird into Ukrainian. This is Katerina Polishchuk. She was sitting there, and she was also captured by Russians, but now returned back to Ukraine. And once again, she is active in attracting attention to war in Ukraine, collecting the money and supporting various volunteering initiatives. Also, there is one popular woman, Evgenia Emerald, who is a sniper. It seems to me she's pregnant right now, but she was hiding her status for a period of time to be able to continue the service, and she is often on the media. But I'm sure there are hundreds and thousands of names of Ukrainian women that protected and that protects Ukraine actively now. Some of them died heroically, saving people's lives, saying their brothers and sisters, and many of them are heroes of Ukraine, some posthumously, some are alive, and hopefully will be able to inspire us and the generations of Ukrainian. And in general, I can tell you that the attitude of Ukrainian women is very strong and very brave and pretty rebellious, and we are not the kind of women who will say oh, let's accept all that bad things. No. And I'm sure that both Ukrainian mothers of soldiers, Ukrainian wives, and Ukrainian women soldiers all are active, all are visible, all are strong voices, and compare that to Russian situation. Even if I don't want to be negative and stay neutral, just be realistic. Look at their society, look at the reaction inside of their society, and there is nothing that I can add. Thank you so much for being with me. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, share, and like these videos, because this helps our channel grow and become more visible. And I believe the world needs to know more about Ukraine, and I promise to tell you only the important and hopefully good stories. Thank you for buying me coffees, for becoming my patrons. Slava Ukraini!